Corporation and your sports network.
Everybody, welcome to a Wednesday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. As you can see, it's not just me and Ty to open up the show today. We are joined right off the bat by head coach of the Columbiana girls basketball team, Dave Chrisman. Dave, thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys, for having me. Appreciate it.
Coach, we got to talk with both sides now. You're going to be the girls' side of things for the Columbiana Clippers. And I have to say, I was impressed by both teams, but your team especially coming in 12-9 off of last year. Obviously, you guys had a pretty successful season. And I think through that, you saw a lot of growth from some of those younger players as well. And it seems like you're returning a lot of those players. So talking about that, talk about some of the players that you kind of lost, but some of the players you expect to have big roles this year. And some of those younger players you expect to have big roles down the stretch as well.
Well, we actually only lost one girl, but it was a huge loss. It was 20 points a game, 4 assists a game, probably good to 3 to 5 steals a game, and that was Grace Whitmer, who went on to play or is playing at Geneva College. And so when you're looking at your roster of young kids, like you said, and I do have 3 seniors coming in this year that got considerable playing time last year. One, unfortunately, Camille Zettner was hurt most of the year. So I'm looking forward to that, but we have to find a way to replace 20 points a game. And whether we have great balance in our scoring or we have a couple of girls step up each and every night. Tori Long is totally capable of putting up big numbers, Cassie Spade. But, we have some shoes to fill in that sense. And our young kids, I'm very impressed so far with our freshmen, sophomores and juniors that are coming in. Attitudes have been great. Practices are very competitive. So we're excited at Columbiana about what's going to be happening.
Yeah, in this Columbiana program, you'll look at the not the rafters, but the wall and the banners up there. You can quickly find out that finding people to score is not a problem for this Columbiana Clippers team. When you look at all the 1,000-point scores that they've had in the program. So I'm sure you'll find somebody that steps up and gets some points for you this year. Talk about the defensive scheme and what kind of defense you guys will bring back this year as well. I mean, strong defense last year, and it looks to be just as strong this year.
Well, we coming in, I followed a program that did a lot of full court press, 2-2-1 trap, half court trap style. I wasn't going to try to fix something that wasn't broken. So we went ahead and did that, but each year trying to implement a little bit more man-to-man philosophy. You're going to see more out of that or out of us that way this year, but we're going to mix it up. We like to try to be assertive in the game. We want to try to dictate tempo. So those are the kinds of things I think you're always going to see out of us. Again, it's just getting terminology, playing together, young kids buying in and investing into what we've always done in the past.
Coach, I think there's no doubt this is going to be a very tough EOAC this year, and I think it's going to be one that's going to be kind of wide open between teams that can kind of take a hold of this flag. Talk to me about competing in this EOAC this year. What are some of the challenges you expect to face and what you guys as a team and a unit need to improve on to take a hold of that EOAC crown?
I think the EOAC just chock full of good coaches and programs that are on the rise. You look at a United, you look at a Southern, these there. They're getting athletes that are starting to buy in. Their coaches do a great job. Latonia is always tough. Wellsville is improving. East Palestine's the reigning champions. You just have to approach each night, I think, with that kind of mindset that you're going to go to war tonight. And our kids understand that. We put the league title in our sights each and every year. I mean, that is something that our kids expect to go get. But this year, probably above all others, like you said, any given night, if you don't show up to play hard, you could get beat, and there's going to be a lot of parity. So I'm hoping that with the tradition that we bring to the table, that we will come in with some swag, even though we have young kids that will be contributing. I think the sooner they realize that and what it is to be a part of Columbiana girls basketball, the better off we'll be.
The league's going to be tough. We all know that. What about your non-conference schedule? What are some teams that are on your slate this year that you're really excited to play and you think will really boost the team's preparedness for the end of the season and what the tournament brings?
Yeah, we open up with Cardinal Mooney right off the bat. That's going to be our home opener, and it's just always a tough contest. We're going to a Brookfield tournament where we'll see Brookfield and some other competitive teams there. I think that it is a non-conference schedule that will hopefully get us prepared, especially come tournament time. You want to be playing your best basketball. And I felt like even through a COVID year last year, our non-conference schedule helped us when we went into, meeting champion in a sectional final, a game that I really felt like we were right there and had every opportunity in the world to win. So I think we're up for the challenge. I hope the schedule will benefit us, and I hope our girls come in and play confident.
Talk about the growth that you've seen over the course of the summer and how they have been and fared in the off season. Where are those areas of growth that you've seen the most, and what areas have they really improved on?
Well, this summer was good for me because we really had a summer. We really didn't get much of one the summer before. And so when we start planning out shootouts and different things, then it's, okay, I got to work around softball. I got to work around this. And I totally get that as a softball coach. But I was very impressed with our turnout. I was impressed with our younger girls, and I really needed to see our younger kids. I needed to get an idea how they were going to be in a competitive setting. You see them in junior high and they're doing really well, but you want to see them at that, in that varsity atmosphere where they're playing against possibly 17, 18-year-old girls. And it's an eye opener. And I think that they saw that too, came in with a great attitude, realized how hard they were going to have to work. So it helped me to see our younger kids this summer, and we got probably close to 26 games of basketball done in the month of June. So it was very productive.
Coach, you mentioned that game against Champion that closed your season in the tournament. What a great game that was. Like you said, you felt like you could have won it. You were in position to win it. When you end the season like that, how much does it fuel the team to kind of get back there and try to take that next step the next year?
Yeah, it was a gut punch, Anthony. I mean, we were up 5, close to 45, 48 seconds left in the game. And I think one of our talks first day was about toughness. And we want to really try to establish toughness. I felt like there were games last year, and it's not taking anything away from our opponent. I thought there were games last year that we should have won at home. We just needed to be tougher, and we were not. So we're really preaching that this year, that, the other team doesn't get the ball unless you give it to them. And talks like that go a long way. I think if we can stay consistent with that down the stretch, those close games will go in our favor. But again, that's a mentality that kids have to develop, and they have to have confidence to do that.
Obviously, winning helps when trying to build that culture and trying to build and get girls to buy in, but also it takes a lot of outside teaching. So what is some of the things outside of the sport of basketball that you try to teach your girls in an effort to teach them what it means to be a Clipper?
Well, we really try to emphasize that this is a team sport. We want you to buy into the total team concept. You should have your teammates back. You should be the best six-man you can be if that is you. What is your role on the team, and can you accept that? And I really feel like that is what life is. When you get into situations where you are pressured or you are pushed, how are you going to react to that? And many times you have coworkers or classmates or people that will be there to pick you up when you fall down. And you need coaches to do that too. So we really try to preach that family, team first atmosphere in our program. And I think the girls are really buying in.
Coach, we asked Todd Johnson this as well. That Clipper gym is very unique. It's got a big feel, even though it's not that big as far as space-wise. The crowd gets on you in a hurry because they're so close to the court. Talk about the home court advantage that Clipper Dome can kind of bring to you guys.
Yeah, we love playing at home. I think we get a good following. I think that there is an aura about playing in our gym. When you said, you look at the numbers on the wall, in our program alone, last year was the first time in a while that we didn't get to taste the EOAC title or whatever league that we were in up to that point. And I think that it brings that extra advantage. I think that our girls are comfortable there. I think we shoot better there. So with that being said, we want to try to be able to do well on the road, but you do have to hold serve at home. I truly believe that.
Talking about this upcoming season, we know that Columbiana usually shows up well and they support. But for anybody that's kind of on the fence about it right now, what's the selling pitch to come out and see the Lady Clippers this year?
Well, we are going to be deeper probably than we've been in a while as far as, our 1 through 10. And we are going to play hard. And I think if fans want to see good, fundamental, get after it basketball, they'll enjoy our girls' team. And I think that the girls want to perform for the home crowds, and they want to go out and they want to, do well. And I think by emphasizing in practice the things that we are right now, team first, fundamental, discipline, play hard, I think fans are going to respect that and enjoy that. And hopefully that produces a bunch of wins. And winning is always fun.
Coach, before we let you go, I want to give you the chance to highlight your coaching staff and the people that work in the program and the people that you couldn't really do this without.
Well, we've got two great junior high coaches. Ray Steve's been doing it forever with our 7th grade. This year we have Rachel Stoy, and actually her brother Grant Spade is helping her in our 8th grade program, and they're going to do a phenomenal job. Hannah Mowry is my assistant coach. She has been for the last 3 years. And she has great rapport with the kids and just super structured and disciplined, just the kind of person that I needed to help me out with that. And then we also have Will Johnston, who's new with us this year on board. He's working with our post players. Our kids really respect him. He brings a lot to the table. So I'm thrilled with our staff. I'm thrilled with the start we've had. Right off the bat tonight, we have a scrimmage with McDonald's, so we'll see how things go.
Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. It was great to kind of get a chance to talk to you and help us preview the Columbiana basketball season. We look forward to supporting you and covering you guys throughout the year, and we look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Hey, I appreciate everything YSN you guys do. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, Dave Chrisman, the head coach of the Columbiana Clippers girls basketball team, joining us on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. But we go right from him to our next interview, and we are going to be talking to head coach of the Newton Falls boys basketball team, Roy Simbach. Coach, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
Coach, looking at your team this year and knowing how far you guys got last year, playing Waterloo in that tournament game, and obviously it was a tough fought tournament game at that. But looking at what you guys had last year and what you're bringing back, talk about some of those big pieces that you expect to be huge roles on the team, and some of those younger pieces that maybe we're not talking about, but they're going to have a role on this team.
Yeah, well, we obviously, from the last 2 years, we won our league back-to-back, which was two different leagues, the AAC 2 years ago and the MVAC last year. And we've lost an awful lot of talent from those two teams. And a lot of people think this might be the year that we struggle a little bit. And it's possible, but then again, I think we have the possibility of surprising teams as well. We do have one starter back from last year's team, and we have 4 lettermen back from last year's team. Jordan Dowling will be a senior, he's a starter. He's one of the best shooters in the area. I think he's improved his game where he's a little better defensively, and he's a little better taking the ball to the basket than he was last year. And 3 other lettermen we had last year. Another senior coming back, Nick Rapsack, is very aggressive, very intense. He's a hustler, makes a lot of things happen. We have Alex Pennington, who will be a junior. He's improved. He's gotten stronger. He's a pretty good shooter. And then we have Jake Klein, who's grown a couple inches there. He's in that 6'5", 6'6" range. Played a good amount for us last year, and he's improved a lot as well. And those are going to be the 4 lettermen that are going to have to lead the way. And we have a lot of guys that have come up from the JV team. They're going to give us good minutes, and we have some strong junior class, a really strong freshman class, and some guys in the other classes we think are going to help us as well.
Like you said, the last couple of years you've been top dog in these leagues, and now all of a sudden maybe some low expectations from people outside of the program. What's it going to be like to kind of be able to play that underdog mentality in some of these games and try to surprise some people who might have low expectations of you guys?
Right, it's going to be fun. It's fun being the hunter. It's fun being the hunted. It's just a different challenge. I think maybe a little bit less pressure, and give a chance for this team to grow and develop. We've had 15 straight winning seasons in Newton Falls and 23 out of the last 24 years. So the guys we have coming up have a lot of pride in that too. And they don't want to be that team that has a losing record, and that's going to be a real challenge because our opponents are going to be really strong this year, and it'll just show how much we grow if we can somehow manage to have a winning season this year.
Yeah, and looking at your schedule, it's a very tough non-conference schedule, but I want to talk about your in-conference schedule. We know the MVAC Gray division is obviously going to be pretty well loaded with great teams, and we know in Campbell, we know Garrettsville Garfield joining this year. Liberty's going to be a threat. Talk to me about playing in that conference and what it's going to take from this team to kind of grab a hold of that flag and what it really needs to improve on, or you hope for it to improve on from last year.
Well, our league is always very strong. There's very good coaches throughout the league. So even teams that in some years their talent's down a little bit, they're still very competitive and tough to beat because the coaching in the league is absolutely outstanding. And this year, the league is strong talent-wise, and most of it is senior laden on most of the teams. We're one of the younger teams, but yeah, Campbell's absolutely loaded. LeBray's loaded. Liberty's got a great player in Davis, and have some other guys as well too. Garfield new to the league, but we play them every year, so we're familiar anyhow. Another very well-coached team with some good players coming back as well too. Brookfield's kind of like us, which their talent, most of the talents they're in, they got the junior class. That's really good. So every night's a challenge. We don't look at it as a standpoint, who we got to beat and how we got to beat. We look at it as from our standpoint, we got to get a little better each and every day, each and every night, and we got to become tough for other teams to beat us. And if we worry about ourselves, we make ourselves tough to beat, then things will fall in place for us.
So we know about all the teams in your league. Talk about your non-conference schedule, some of the teams that are going to pop up on your slate that you think will really prepare you for the end of the season and the tournaments.
Yeah, I think our non-conference schedule is pretty good again this year too. We start off with Ravenna, a pretty athletic, tall athletic team we got to play over there. Then we have Howland, who should be a very good team. They have one of the better players in the area. In Masucci, we have Warren JFK, who's been a power in D4 for the past several years. We have a next door rival in Southeast that we were supposed to play last year, didn't because of COVID. And last year they had probably their best team in 10 or 15 years, and their entire team's back. They didn't have one senior. Another local rival we play is the Wyndham Bombers, and they should have a very strong team, and we're going to have a fun time playing them over in Cleveland at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. So that should be a good time for both of us. Then we have, Division II Lakeview later in the season, and right before the tournament, we have Mineral Ridge and Niles, 2 non-league games heading into the tournament.
Coach, we know how influential that sophomore to junior year growth is for basketball players, and you talked about having a lot of sophomores coming back as juniors this year. Over the course of the summer, what has been the biggest points of growth that you've seen from those sophomores coming into their junior year?
Well, it varies by the individuals. A couple of them I think have gotten a little stronger, a little tougher. Some of them have improved their shooting somewhat. Some of them improved their ball handling a little bit. We do a lot in the summer. We played in the Girard League, and we went down to Marietta to team camp, and we bonded a little bit and grew a little bit, and guys got that varsity playing time. It wasn't actual real games that we're going to have soon, but as close to that as you can get. So we played a lot of games in the summer and gave those guys a chance to get a little bit of a seasoning, and with that with experience comes confidence. So this need to get that experience. So playing at the varsity level in the summer helped that, and obviously once we get started here and playing games, that's going to help it even more so.
Now that you talk about this year, who are going to be some of the vocal leaders of this team that you're going to count on to make sure that on the court and off the court, really this team kind of works as a unit?
Well, it's Jordan Dowling. This is his year as a senior. He's as an underclassman, he was a player with a lot of older guys. So it's time for Jordan to step up. And so far in practice, he has been a vocal leader. Jake Klein, brother of one of our former really good player, and Joey Klein. Jake has seen what it takes, and hopefully he steps up a bit, becomes a leader too. So far, our practices have been extremely enthusiastic. They've been loud. Kids have been communicating, and and that's all great, and that's what you want. And you hope it continues. You hope it continues when things don't go well. They're not always going to go well, and that's where we'll see the type of leadership we have. It's easy to lead when things go well or when you haven't lost a game yet. Where the challenge for leadership comes is when things aren't going well, and we'll see how those guys respond when that time comes.
Man, I'll tell you, Coach, that Klein name is a strong name in Newton Falls basketball on both sides. We've been watching Klein shine for the Tigers for a while. I actually coached Dad, Ken. I coached him when I was first JV coach many years ago, and they have some very, very good players, very good athletes in that family, and they're all different too. Joey was a quick, outstanding point guard. Jake's a totally different type of player, and the two girls, Gabby and Izzy, were outstanding in their own rights in the girls program, and they've provided a lot of talent for the Tigers.
Talking about this team too, and like you said, it's easy for a lot of these older senior-led teams to kind of look at you guys as little brother, but what's going to give Newton Falls the competitive edge in each and every game?
Well, I'm not sure we'll have a competitive edge in each and every game. I mean, other than, we need to be disciplined. We need to follow our game plan, do what we need to do. And, and I think what would possibly, I don't know if it would be an edge or not. I do think we're talented. I do think we will be able to go and match up talent-wise with a lot of these teams. We're just inexperienced. And it's a matter of gaining that experience. The more we gain, the better we're going to get. And I think we could have some growing pains early, but we want to be one of those teams that come March, no matter what our record is, you may not want to play us because we expect to be dangerous by then.
Coach, talk about this Newton Falls community and what it's going to be like finally having them back in the gym and having their energy and what that's going to mean for this program's success.
Well, I sure hope the crowd comes back. Last year it was last year was just great. We were able to play. Disappointing that we couldn't play in front of a lot of people, especially since we just had our gym redone, all with private donations. We raised over $175,000 and got new bleachers, a new floor. We got the On our floor, we have the symbols of our town, the falls, the covered bridge, fireworks, the water tower on our floor that we're really proud of, and people hopefully will come in and get a chance to see it. And we always have a very great atmosphere playing at our place, and we certainly are really looking forward to getting that back this season.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt a spectacle that comes along with Newton Falls basketball when you go to one of their games. Talking about this staff, though, Coach, I want to give you the opportunity to kind of shout out some of your assistants and some of those other big proponents that are going to be big helps to this team along the way this season.
Well, what really, I've coached for many, many years, and I would not be doing it anymore if I didn't have great help. And I have some of the finest help in the area, and most of them are local. They're Newton Falls guys. They're Tiger basketball people. My top assistant, Mike Mazanets, was a ball boy for us when he came up. Played in our program for a while. Then he started coaching for a while now, and he's been with me now for over 10 years. And Mike is probably one of the best coaches in the area. Not assistant, but he's one of the best coaches in the area, and we're fortunate enough to have him. We have Dan Rankin, a former player of mine who does an outstanding job with our JVs. Craig Reynolds, who's a former coach, a head coach at Southington. His wife teaches in our district. Craig's been with us a few years. He does an outstanding job. This year also helping us at the varsity and JV level, we have Jay Leeworthy, a former player of mine. Patrick Harnacher's been with us for about 6 or 7 years, another Newton Falls graduate, does a great job with our freshmen. Chad Rankin coaches our 8th grade. He was our JV coach for a few years. Chad was a former player of mine. He does a great job with the 8th graders. David Hookery, another former player in our program, has our 7th grade. So our coaches, not only they're good people, former players, they know the Tiger way that we want to play basketball, and we've got that continuity all the way up. And most of our coaches been with us for quite some time, and I'm really proud and pleased with my staff. My staff is what makes us go. I'm able to delegate a lot of things, and we get a lot of things done that I don't have to absolutely do everything. That makes it a lot easier on me because I got very, very capable people to help run our program.
Coach, before we let you go, obviously you've said it a couple of times. You've been coaching for a while. You can't do it without a passion for doing it either. I mean, you can't do it without a great assistant staff, but you can't do it without just loving what you're doing. What is that drive to coach at this level, and what do you love about it so much? Number one, I like to compete. You got to have something as you get older. And I can't really had a hip replacement a couple of years ago. I really can't play basketball that much. I'm really not that good at golf or anything like that. And you like to have something where you like to compete. I've always enjoyed the game. I enjoy sports of all kinds. But basketball's was probably the sport I was best at playing, and I enjoy coaching. Still have a passion for it. Couldn't wait for the first practice to start. Can't wait to go to practice today. If I ever get tired of it, where it's a chore and I don't like it, I'll quit. But that has not happened yet, and who knows if and when it will. But again, because I have great people around me, our kids buy in. They work so hard. Some people think, man, this year could be a struggle because we might not be as talented as we were the past 2 years. I'm really looking forward to it. The kids are giving us everything they have, and I'm just really interested to see if we can surprise people. And again, we'll have quite a few people back after this year too. So no matter how this year goes, we're looking forward into the future for Tiger basketball.
Yeah, Coach, I'm sure both the kids and the community, it's so easy to buy in when they know their coach is already so bought into the program as well. We thank you, and we know you guys do a great job over there with coverage of Newton Falls, but I'm sure we'll be talking with you again real soon.
Okay, thanks, guys. Appreciate everything you do for high school sports in the area. It's great to get some extra coverage. Thank you.
Yep, no problem, Coach. We look forward to talking to you.
That was Roy Simbach, the head coach of the Newton Falls boys basketball team, a team that has won 2 consecutive league championships, one in the AAC and then one in the MVAC last year. And until you knock them off, they're top dog. I don't care what they're bringing back or what people think about what they're going to have this year. Until you actually go and do it, they're the top dog.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, young players. Yeah, young players. The young players, you're going to be excited to see that, and I think this is going to be what's intriguing and what kind of is like the selling pitch to go out and see this team this year is because they're young and they're going to be. You don't know what to expect, so I think they have the potential to surprise a lot of people just because of the type and the brand of basketball that they play. And like I said too, I watched that tournament game in its entirety last year with Waterloo and Newton Falls, and that was it's great, competitive, team-oriented basketball, and I think you'll see that continue. I think it's a great system that thrives and makes shooters and makes everyone that works hard for it thrive in the system. So I think as long as they're going to work hard, I think you'll see success from Newton Falls again.
And I'll tell you, people that root against Newton Falls or are fans of other teams, they are sick of this Klein name popping up in Newton Falls basketball. Oh, man. There's another one coming up.
This MVAC in the gray division alone is going to be so fun and interesting. Just the teams we have, and we already talked with a good majority of teams from boys, girls, or what have you, but we've been talking all around, and it's going to be exciting this year, Anthony. I really think so. You're talking Brookfield, Champion, Crestview, Garfield, LeBray, Liberty, Newton Falls. That's a lot of great, talented teams on both sides.
It's up in the air. You just don't know who's going to have the best year, per se.
A lot of those conferences are up in the air this year, and I think that's what's so intriguing about basketball this year.
Well, we have more conversations to be had today. We're going to take a quick break. On the other end, we'll be talking to Coach Pat Birch at 12:45. That's coming up next. Well, not next, but that's coming up as our next interview. Don't go anywhere. YSN on YSNLive.com. Running Point brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring. And, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, shop with confidence knowing we're ready to go the extra mile for you. With the largest selection of used vehicles in the Valley, backed by the Greenwood Advantage Warranty. Every one of our vehicles has undergone our own 126-point inspection, so it passes the most important inspection, yours. No other dealership has the extra inventory, gives you extra for your trade, and goes the extra mile for you. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the four words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
Coca's Pizza, always supporting our community and our local athletes. Stop in on game day or score big and have it delivered right to your door. Check out our daily specials at cocaspizza.com. That's Coca's Pizza. We serve it hot.
At Hubbard Chevrolet, Hubbard can help you get the financing you need, regardless of your situation. I'm Tony Page, and I've helped thousands of customers in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania buy a vehicle. Visit HubbardChevy.com to get pre-approved. Remember, folks, Hubbard can help.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
Welcome back to Running Point Wednesday edition on ysnlive.com, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you, and we like to think that we try to do that too here at Running Point, as we have more interviews to get to today. At 12:45, we'll be talking to Pat Birch, the head coach of the Boardman boys basketball team, and then after that, we're going to have a very fun-packed party with Crestview Volleyball. We're going to be joined by Coach Hour and Crestview's 6 seniors, all on Running Point, to talk about this season and their regional matchup with Independence tomorrow at Barberton.
And then we wrap up the show with Scotty, I think. So it's
gonna wrap up the show with Scotty.
So it's gonna be packed today. So not a dull moment throughout the show today.
This is kind of our only moment to kind of take a breath and recap some.
Look at some matchups too, yeah.
And one, we just want to congratulate South Range on a great girls soccer season. They fell last night to Doylestown, Chippewa, 2-0 in the regional semis at Marlington High School. They just had a lot of trouble getting offense going. This Chippewa defense suffocated them. They really focused on Gabby Lamparty. She actually had one goal called back that would have been an equalizer in the first half. It was called back because of an offsides call. So that was a hurt. That one hurt. You know, a free kick, 30-yard free kick that gets called back because of an offsides. But Raiders just couldn't find enough offense to get over the hump. So congratulations on a great season for South Range girls. We definitely know that they're going to be heard from when those girls go to play basketball in the winter, and we've already talked to Coach Fish, so we haven't heard the last of some of those players.
Oh, no doubt, and we know they're going to come back with the fury to come basketball season. So it's going to be a fun time, I think, in South Ranges. I think every single one of their athletics is usually competitive, so there's never a dull moment over there in South Range either. They're usually pretty well.
We want to remind people that did not tune in yesterday. We kind of previewed it yesterday, but just to remind people, we do have 3 boys soccer matchups tonight. One of them is YSN versus YSN. So 4 teams, 3 games. And it starts with Crestview and Ursuline squaring off at Boardman High School at 6 o'clock. That one's going to be live on ysnlive.com. You can watch it in its entirety, courtesy of our friends over at NDC Heating and Cooling. They were able to put up a sponsorship to get that game to you and cover the OSSAA fees and everything else. So we will have that game live on ysnlive.com.
It's Ursuline and Crestview too. So hey, even if you haven't gotten out to see a soccer game, and if you can't tonight, tune into that and support them virtually too. Especially support your local businesses too. And we want to shout out again NDC for what they did and putting up the fees too to sponsor tonight's game. So get out there and support local businesses and give it a watch too. It's going to be two great teams, two local teams, and we know one of them's got to move on to the next round. It'll be fun.
And a rematch of last year's regional semifinal that Howland won 1-0. It is the Tigers taking on Bay Village Bay at Nordonia at 7 o'clock. A lot of soccer, experts think that this is one of the best matchups in the area all year. And, obviously if beggars could be wishers, they'd have this matchup, a lot of people think, in the state championship, but they're in the same region, so they have to play each other. So regional semifinal, two really good soccer teams going into tonight. Howland versus Bay Village Bay at Nordonia at 7 o'clock. And then Canfield will take on Revere at Ravenna at 7 o'clock. So those two games in action tonight as well. We wish our boys soccer teams the best of luck, and we're guaranteed at least one team in the regional final.
Yeah, no doubt. And hopefully we see 3 of our teams advance tonight. Unfortunately, we can't have 4, but we can get greedy and say at least 3. But that Ursuline Crestview matchup is obviously going to be exciting, and you can watch it on the network tonight. So we have a little bit of playoff soccer for you too. So don't say we didn't cover the soccer in the playoffs too. And you know what? Thanks to our friends over at NDC. Again, we can't thank them enough for what they were able to do, putting up for this game and being able to showcase all these great athletes on both Ursuline's and Crestview's side. This is going to be a fun one tonight, I think.
Also, some exhibition volleyball on the network tonight. The MVAC is holding their all-star game tonight at Camel High School. I will be there to call this one. It starts at 6 o'clock, and it's basically going to be the Scarlet Seniors All-Stars versus the Gray Senior All-Stars. Obviously, the teams that are still playing, those players are ineligible. So, you're not going to see the seniors from Crestview. You're not going to see the seniors from Western Reserve. But still, a lot of great players nonetheless on this roster. And the players from the teams that cannot participate will still be recognized and will still be given their dues.
At least it's one team from each side too. Western Reserve and the Scarlet, and Crestview and the Gray. So it's 7 versus 7 teams still. So I mean, it's cool.
And they both have 2 players that were gonna be on the roster. So it's really even. Both teams lost 2 players off the roster. No finagling, no switching around. There are 1 McDonald player, and that they're going to be coached by McDonald's coach Klockner. And the Gray tier is going to be coached by Garfield's head coach, Ali Korosek. They'll be coaching them. So every team is represented, once again, other than the teams that are still playing. 2 from Liberty, 1 from Campbell, 2 from Newton Falls, 2 from Brookfield, 2 from Garfield, 2 from LeBroy. This is all seniors, so you don't see any underclassmen on this roster for the All-Star game. And that will be at 6 o'clock. If you want to go out to this game, tickets are not sold at the door. You have to get them online. That link is on our website. It's also on Camel's Twitter page. I can say, it's camel.k12.oh.us. It's not, you know what? No, it's too hard to read all. It's a link. You can find it on ysnlive.com with the story of the All-Star game. And if you're obviously not able to make it, I will be on the call live on ysnlive.com, 6 o'clock. MVAC All-Star game, Gray versus Scarlet.
Yeah, so we got volleyball for you tonight. We got soccer for you tonight. Both of those on the network. So it's not a dull Wednesday night either. We got you covered well into the evening here on the network.
I mean, the week DJ made this kind of pun yesterday. The week for YSN starts today because, man, we have soccer, volleyball tonight. Tomorrow night, we have both volleyball regional matchups going to be live on ysnlive.com. Wellsville versus Western Reserve, Crestview versus Independence. Both those games are going to be on YSN. And then Friday, obviously, we're booked the whole day.
Football. Yep.
If teams win on Thursday, then we'll be somewhere for volleyball on Saturday as well. So it's going to be a busy weekend.
Yeah, no doubt. So we're going to be looking forward to it deep into these tournament runs for the soccer and volleyball teams. And hey, football playoffs, they're getting into the thick of it as well.
And talk about being busy. The season has hit the ground running for Boardman basketball. And we're going to be joined by the head coach of the Boardman boys. And that will be Pat Birch. Coach, I'm going to bring you in now. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
No problem. How you guys doing? Thanks for having me.
We're doing really good. We're so ready for basketball season. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, same here. Same here. I'm excited to get some fans back in the stands too.
Coach, when we look at your team last year, obviously another successful season for the Spartans as you guys battled through a very tough AAC, including facing teams like Massillon-Jackson, Massillon-Washington throughout the season. So you paddled your tough schedule. You had some great players along the way too. And I know there's a few that we're expecting to return this year. I want to make sure we get the confirmation from you, but obviously guys like Ty Ventresco no longer there. So there's going to be some holes you need to fill. So talk about those big proponents of your roster that you think are going to be getting big, huge roles this year, and some of those younger guys that you expect to step up this year as well.
Yeah, first and foremost, losing a kid like Ethan Anderson is a huge loss for us. He went on to play college basketball at Marietta, a kid that was a 3-year starter for us that did so many things on both ends of the floor. Some big shoes to fill, and the seniors in general were a good group of kids that worked really hard, and they did a lot for our program. But into the mix goes the next group of seniors. That'll be led by Trey DePietro, 6'6" forward wing that has played the last 2 years. He was a starter for us last year, played as a sophomore on a really good team. A very versatile kid that's going to do a lot of good things for us. And then other returning seniors that played a lot last year, we have Seth Cervello at point guard. We have Luke Ryan at our shooting guard. Anthony Hightower, who came off the bench and played a lot for us last year, was a letterman. So was Ben Alvrico. They're very quick athletic guards that I think will cause some problems for us. And we have a deep senior class in general that is, ready for their turn and ready to kind of take the torch and move it forward, hopefully.
You look at all those players that you just mentioned. Who do you think you're going to lean on a lot this year to be kind of the vocal leader, the coach on the floor, that kind of guy that really gets your team ready to go?
The guy that's really stepped up for us in that regard is Carter Mraz. He was a junior last year that, for whatever reason, didn't end up finding a lot of minutes, but has a great offseason, has been our vocal leader, has worked really hard over the last 4 or 5 months, and I think he's earned a lot of respect from his teammates. And he's a guy when we know we need something in practice or we need something relayed, that's one of the first guys we go to because his leadership is really strong.
I obviously have the opportunity to see this boys team over the last couple years, so it is a little bit odd not seeing a guy with the last name of Anderson being the big impact player going into it after the last 2 years. But going into this, Trey DePietro, I've seen him play too, and I thought last year too looked really good on the court. How's the summer work been for him? And you said he's going to be one of those big name scorers for you this year. What have you been most impressed with over the course of the summer, and what he's improved on?
He's really expanded his game. He's gotten stronger, which is, obviously helps in every phase of the game, but he's more comfortable on the perimeter. We'll see him step out and shoot the ball, and we're encouraging him to do that. It's something that he's worked on, and just we're going to place him in spots where we feel like he has the best advantage every game. Some games that might be on the block, some games that'll be at the high post, some games it'll be, out in the open floor. It just depends. I think he's kind of a Swiss Army knife for us that we're going to try to use in a lot of different ways. He's had success as a role player, as a sophomore, full-time starter last year was a really important piece. And now this year, the next step is for him to be the guy for us and lead us in a lot of different ways.
After every season, coaches kind of look at the film and try to reflect on the whole season as a whole and think of things they can do the next year to get better. When you kind of did that and you looked at the guys you have returning and you saw them on film from last year and now you have them back this year, what are some things that you as a team kind of want to improve on or see improved this season to have more success?
I think, first of all, we realized we got to be better in close games and execute better. We lost a few close ones last year, a couple overtime games, games that we had leads in that we let slip away at the end of the game that really could have flipped our record a little bit better. So that's coming with experience. I think having the same guys on the floor in those moments this year will really help. And then just continuing to build and have good chemistry and reinforce our program values that we're going to play hard and be unselfish and as long as guys are continuing to buy into those two things, I think good things will happen.
Talk about the schedule you're going to face this year. Obviously, you scheduled up last year. We expect much of the same, and looking at it, it looks very tough. Obviously, the AAC obviously is always going to be a competitive conference. Talk to me a little bit about the games, how important those games are going to be in trying to grab a hold of the conference again this year, and some of those out-of-conference games too, and the challenges you're going to face in those.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, first and foremost, you said conference. I think everyone's going to be better this year, top to bottom. I think everyone has some guys back and has experience, has some talent. So it's going to be tough getting through the conference for sure. And those are always battles. You're so familiar with one another that it's tough to get through the conference. And then outside of that, our non-conference is definitely challenging. We have Cheney twice early on. We have Poland early on in December, and then we have the likes of North Canton Hoover and Madison Washington, Canton Glen Oak, throughout the second part of our schedule. So there's really no game on our schedule that I could look at and be like, oh yeah, that's one that we're going to get for sure. We're going to have to come play every night. But that's where we need to be. That's who we need to play and get better against and be ready for, hopefully a tournament run at the end of the year.
Tell me some things that you kind of try to pass along or things that you hope that when your guys kind of leave your program that they take away from being with Boardman and they take away from your coaching that you want them to kind of carry on to life after Boardman High School?
I kind of hit it on it earlier. I really think as long as our guys are committed to the team and being unselfish and they realize that working hard is really the recipe for success. Those are really the core values that we try to try to put into place with our guys, that from the leading scorer to the last man on the bench, like everyone's important. Everyone has a role to play. And I was just talking to our team yesterday as we had to make final cuts and, make some tough decisions that, the guys in the locker room we really value, from the top guy to the bottom guy. And, we're all trying to pull in the same direction. I think that carries over, to everything else that these guys will do in life.
And you know what, Coach? I mean, talking about that and talking about the success that has brought on to Boardman basketball in recent years, I think it's easy to have these kids in this community buy in. So talk to me a little bit about that culture that you wanted to build. Obviously, you talk about the teachings you do for these kids, but what is the culture of Boardman basketball, and what does it mean at the end of the day to be a Spartan on and off the court?
It's something that, it's a word that gets thrown around a lot. And I think as a head coach, I didn't really appreciate what it meant to have a culture until probably a few years in and some experience. So looking back, one of the things that I've always tried to do is just honestly do the right thing by kids and by people as best they can. Obviously, not everyone agrees with your decisions, but I feel like if you have good intentions and you come from a good place, people respect that and hopefully want to be a part of it. For us, a lot of it's been our youth program. That's going really strong right now. We have over 200 kids in our youth program that serves as a feeder to the upper levels. And a lot of our guys now went through that program as young kids and they're coming up to the varsity level. So these are kids that I have seen grow from, 5, 6, 7 years old, and now they're juniors and seniors in high school. And it's pretty cool to have that connection and see them work their way up through the program. And, for me, it's just trying to be visible and trying to be a part of everything. And, you make some mistakes along the way for sure, but you own those mistakes and you just continue to try to do the right thing and, and value everyone in the program. Again, from the best player to the youth basketball coaches, they're all important. And I try to demonstrate that as best we can.
Coach, I got to ask you about the coaching household that you have. Obviously your wife Alyssa coaches the volleyball team and with great success. And now, you guys get to kind of trade places where you support the volleyball team all season during your quote unquote off months, and now she gets to go and take that role and support the basketball team and during her off months. What's it kind of like to have two coaches in a household and being able to have that dynamic?
We're fortunate. We'd be lying if we said it wasn't crazy at times, and especially parts of the year where we're both have stuff planned. Like June's crazy for us. We have something every night of the week and we're trying to balance things, but we work together, both as coaches and obviously as husband and wife on making it work. And, I value what she does with her volleyball program. I think she's a great coach, and I learn a lot from her, and I try to help her out along the way too with a little bit more experience in terms of being a head coach now. But we bounce ideas off each other and say we respect each other's opinions. And at the end of the day, we're number one fans both ways, and we know what each one's going through. So that definitely makes it easier.
I think every year is always a learning experience, and it's an opportunity to gain more knowledge for coaches. So, in particular, since you started coaching Boardman in the Boardman program, what's the biggest thing you've learned about yourself as a coach since that point?
The number one thing I've learned that you need to do as coaching is definitely be able to adjust. I would say first couple of years or so, I thought I had a plan and this is what I wanted to do and this is what we were going to do. And you realize that, okay, that can't be the case every year. You better look at what kids you have and try to put them in the best possible position. So, this year I think we're running our third or fourth different offense, so to speak, over the last 4 or 5 years, because that's what fits our guys, and that's what we need to do this year. So some of the key concepts are the same for sure, but you need to be willing to adjust and make those changes and look at who's with you and what guys do well and put them in the best possible spot. I think that just comes with some time and experience. I'm pretty crazy. This is going into my 10th year, and I was laughing. We had a coaches meeting, a Zoom, and I was one of the old guys in the room all of a sudden. So it's pretty weird that how fast these years are going. I also need to learn to take better care of my voice, as I'm 5 days in and I already lost it. So I got to drink some honey or something like that.
Coach, before we let you go, we want to give you the chance to highlight your staff and the people that are kind of with you in this battle and help make this program what it is.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I've been fortunate to have a lot of really great people with me over the years. And not only are they good coaches, they're just really good guys. Most of them have been teachers, which I think is really important because they know how to relate to kids. This year, that's the same. Steve Flores and Tom King are my 2 varsity assistants, and those guys have been around the game for a really long time. Steve was a former YSU basketball player who has coached at various levels for years. He's got a great demeanor to him. He's a teacher. He really understands kids. Tom is a fantastic basketball mind that has been a former head coach and has been through the fire and really gets the most out of kids on a daily basis. And those two really complement each other well. Our JV coach has been with me since my first year. He was a former player of mine in Dylan Vasella, and he understands what I'm trying to get out of every practice. And Ryan McCune's our freshman coach. That same thing. He was with me as a player early on. So it's pretty cool to see some of these guys come back after they graduate and want to be part of it. It makes you feel good as a coach that guys want to continue to be around what they were a part of once. So I love our staff. I love those guys, and they do a great job with our kids every day.
Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and helping us preview Boardman boys basketball a little bit and what you guys are going to bring to the table this year. We look forward to covering you all season, and we know that we're going to talk to you again real soon.
Yeah, for sure. And I just want to say I appreciate what you guys do. I love the coverage you guys bring, and anything to get our kids some notoriety and get our programs covered. It's been great, and you guys continue to build your brand, and I think it's a really great thing for our area that you guys are doing.
Thanks, Coach. That means a lot.
All right. Take care, guys. Hopefully we'll see you at some games soon.
Oh, you will. You will.
Appreciate it.
That was Pat Birch, the head coach of the Boardman boys basketball team, joining us on Running Point Ysn Live, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. And we are getting ready for what is sure to be a party because we have, I believe, more guests at the same time than we've ever had on Running Point. Joining us here, it's going to be the Crestview volleyball team. Well, not the whole team, but Coach Hour and all of her seniors are going to be joining us here. We're going to pop them in as they come on. So here's Coach Hour.
Hello.
And here are some people. We'll get everyone to kind of introduce themselves so we know who's where. And then we're waiting for some other people too. Man, what an exciting time to kind of be a Rebel right now, right?
Very exciting.
As to set the scene for you guys tonight, if anybody who is unaware, this is going to be one heck of a matchup between Crestview and Independence. That's going to be going down Thursday evening. Crestview going in 26-0, Independence 25-0. Independence winning 9 straight in the playoffs. Crestview winning 4 playoff games, only dropping 1 to Cardinal last week. Only last time Crestview was in a 5-set match all the way back in August 28th. So obviously the success has been absolutely incredible. Coach, talk to me from both the seniors and from yourself as a coaching perspective. What has it been like just coaching this group of girls, and from the seniors' perspective, what has it been like being coached by Coach Hour this season and being a part of this special group?
Well, these are amazing girls. And I mean, 2 years ago, we went to regionals with most of this group. last year we went to regionals with this group, and to be back for the third straight year is just phenomenal. I mean, I knew over the summer that we had a really great group, but being undefeated at this point is just mind-blowing. The girls are very excited to show up on Thursday and really give Independence a challenge. They're a strong team, but so are we. So I'm super excited.
All right, guys, you can just divvy it up however you guys want to.
Okay. So this year, the seniors, we really have honestly just had a dream team. None of us really expected to be undefeated. Last year was a surprise season. There wasn't that many returning lettermen. And then this year, we walked in, we're okay, we have a dream, we have a goal. We're going to get to regionals again, and we're going to make it past the first round. And so that's kind of what we've been pushing for. We've been practicing really hard for Independence and for tomorrow. And being coached by Coach Howard and everything, it's just amazing. And we just have such an amazing group of girls and coaches, and they really just push us, and they see our potential. And I think that just makes us work 10 times harder to, win and play and just enjoy every moment, really, because we just love to play. So, Kenny, you can.
Honestly, I think you just want to get back to where we left off last year and prove that we're more than our team last year, and that we've grown so much since we were last at Barberton last year. Yeah, I think that sums up everything.
Yeah.
We have another senior popping in, and Shelby Rambo joins us.
Hi, Shelby.
Hey, well, welcome to the party. We asked those seniors what it's like kind of being coached under Coach Howard and what this season has been like. So from your perspective, what's it been like being under coach for the last 4 years, and this season in particular, what has it been like going through it this year as a senior? Oh, we just lost her too.
Oh, Shelby, come back.
We'll get her back. Coach, this matchup, I mean, it's kind of been in the realm of everyone's thought for a while. I mean, and once we knew that you guys were going to be lined up with Independence's district, the way it lined up, we've been thinking about it. It's been in the back of media's mind. Obviously, you guys taking it one match at a time, but now that it's here, and the goals that the seniors has talked about is kind of right in front of you. What's the things leading up to it? What are you working on this year to try to get to this level where you can go and really push Independence and give them, let them know that you're there and let them hopefully get a win too?
Well, it all starts with ball control. And I believe if we can control the serves, if we can play defense, then we can play with them. And if we can play with them, we're going to get points. It's going to be point for point. We're going to fight and hopefully pull off some sets and potentially pull off the match. I mean, Independence has been in the state finals, I believe, the past 3 years. So obviously they're a very strong team. But like I said before, we are too. We're 26-0. We've beaten some good teams. We have experience. I feel that we're ready, but definitely starts with the ball control. We've been focusing a lot on practice on passing serve, playing more aggressive defense, which showed in our last match. So, just play the game. Volleyball is a super fun game, and Independence is going to be a very good opponent. But I think, the girls are scrappy, ready to pass serve, and get our offense going.
Speaking of experience, we have another senior popping in. Lucy Montgomery joins us.
Yeah, Lucy.
Welcome
Hi,
to the
Lucy.
So, Lucy, before you came on, we did ask the other seniors what it's like being coached by Coach Howard and what it's like kind of being a part of this season as a senior. So from your perspective, Lucy, what's it like kind of being coached by her for the last 4 years? And then what's it been like going through this year as a senior and seeing all these goals be reached?
It's definitely the biggest blessing to have her as a coach. I've had many coaches, and she's definitely my favorite. She pushes us to be the best we can possibly be, and at the same time keeps us out of our heads and continues to help us grow, not only as volleyball players but as people on our own. And as a senior, I think it's been the best year ever. We've really come together and worked our hardest to do the best that we possibly can.
This is my question for all the seniors too, and you guys all kind of hinted at it as well about this being a dream team too, 26-0, and this is something that doesn't happen every single season, and it truly is something special. What is being a part of this team, knowing that this is going to be a team that's going to probably be talked about for years after this? What does that mean to you, knowing that your name's going to be kind of synonymous with Crestview volleyball going forward?
Yeah. So it's kind of just like our saying actually as seniors. We always say like we love Crestview volleyball, and it's really because we just love to play. And like I think all of our love for volleyball and for the game and for like the program and the coaches, it's just drawn us closer together. So like we're not stepping on the court as like just like teammates or just like, oh, like she's my libero, she's my setter. Like we're sisters out there, and we just kind of get each other. And it's just kind of funny because sometimes we know like each other's moves before like we even make them. So we just have this like really special bond, and like it just means so much, especially to me and like the rest of the seniors, because like we just truly love each other and like the game, and it's just like an awesome team, and we couldn't really ask for anything better this season.
Lucy, what about you? Or you guys still want to talk, or do you have something to add to hers? Or?
I think Lainey summed it up pretty well.
We'll let Lucy talk too.
I think, yeah, I agree with Lainey and like everything she said. Like we really are sisters. We've grown up together and like we've played basically all the volleyball like we can. I'm so thankful for all these girls and this entire experience. I think it's definitely like kind of surreal to think that like we are that dream team that like we wish like when we were freshmen we like prayed that it would be like that. Like it's super cool to think that like we actually are that now, and that will probably be in Crestview history.
You know, one of the things that you have to do to be one of the programs that can get to state championships is you got to keep getting there. You got to keep getting to this regional level and taking the next steps every year that you get there. You seniors have been there 3 times now in a row. What kind of things have you learned from the last 2 trips down there to kind of take into this year and make a bigger splash this year than you have before?
So our sophomore year, we went down with as us just sitting on the bench and just cheering the team on, and we got to see the atmosphere that they were going into. And then our junior year, we played in the regional semis, and I mean, we kind of weren't used to playing in such a big atmosphere, and we didn't really know what was coming for us when we got there. But I think this year we learned a lot from being there 2 times before, and I think that made us ready for this time.
I think that going like sophomore year, it was kind of we went in and thought like, wow, this is like the biggest thing ever. Like we kind of went in thinking like how are we gonna be able to even play the same sport? Like, but I think this year we have more of a like I guess like tunnel vision. I don't know if that's the right word, but we can see like basically that like it's not as big of a deal as it seems, and it's still like the same game that we play every day. And like Lainey was talking about the other day that like we like those girls are the same girls. Like they get up, they do like they have their high school experience, they live basically the same lives. I mean, obviously differences, but so like we can't look at them, like we learned not to look at them as like idols.
Coach, from your perspective, you know, this is your 3rd straight year of taking a team to the regionals. What kind of things have you learned about preparing for this type of game and getting teams ready for this type of game and trying to put your best foot forward as a coach in this level?
Well, like the girls said, I mean, these Independence is just another team like us. They're a very good volleyball team, you know, but there's nothing superhuman about them. And I think in the past, like, you know, you get to districts, you win districts, it's so exciting. But then you move on to regionals, it's kind of like, whoa, what do we do? You know, it's just kind of a big venue, big gym, everything's crazy. It's fast. So I think the girls are really focusing on enjoying every day, enjoying every game, and just doing their best at practice. You know, we've been preparing for this. I mean, obviously we haven't looked past any games, but this is the goal that we have wanted to be at. We have wanted to get to this chance to be successful at the regional level. So, I mean, this is their 3rd year, so they've had some experience. They've been there. They've seen the stage fright. They've seen the competition at this level in the game. Everybody's good. So I think that the experience coupled with the ability we have this year, we might have a shot.
I think you have the great attitude and a great mindset going into it this year, Coach. And you know what? A follow-up question to that. We know how well the Crestview community supports its teams and its athletics, and we know you're very close knit too with the Crestview community as well. what would a win for this volleyball team mean for the Crestview community?
Oh, it would be amazing. We have so many people rooting us on. I mean, we have people show up at games that nobody really knows. They're just there to watch the girls play, and that's really cool. I know we're taking a spirit bus to Barberton, so hopefully we get some students there. Last year kind of changed the way the fans looked. It kind of thinned people out. Not too many people were coming to games, but I'm starting to see more people come. And I know a lot of people are following us. You guys are going to cover the game, which is phenomenal. So hopefully we have a lot of people in person. If they're not in person, they'll be watching online and cheering us on. A win. I mean, I would love to bring a win back to this community.
Let's hear from those faces in the back on the community support and what it means to you back here in this room.
I have a little bit of stage fright. That's why I'm sitting in the back.
Hannah.
You're good. Whoever wants to talk.
Go ahead, Hannah.
Sorry, Hannah. You.
Welcome to the party. We'll just go to Lucy then, and
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Oh wow. The community support that you guys get, what's it going to mean to you to see people at Barberton cheering you on, and what kind of energy is it going to bring this team?
I think it's gonna be really cool for us to be able to see like familiar faces out there, especially because in the past, like Barberton's so far away that it's really hard for us to get people out there from where we are. So I think this year having a spirit bus is gonna be the coolest thing. Like just knowing that all those people are there, like cheering us on, and like knowing like us thinking like, wow, like that's our team, and like I don't know, rebel pride.
Looking at this team, and I mean, you guys have not faced many challenges, like I said, and you haven't faced a set 5 since August 28th. So talking about this team and talking about being so successful throughout the season, how do you guys kind of prepare for a matchup where it can get competitive? I guess the kind of question is, how do you get ready to play up for a game when you guys have been so dominating in every matchup you've had so far this year?
We'll let Coach take this one first.
Well, at practice, we've really been focusing on things that we need to improve on the big games. I mean, some of the games we played this year, all we had to do was serve and swing away and we would win. So sometimes defensively we would play slow because that's what the game required. But we've really been trying to pick up our speed, challenging the girls at practice. We have watched some film and saw some tendencies. And we're just trying to prepare them mentally for what they're going to see when they step on the court.
So, like, basically what Coach said, like, we've been preparing, and, like, it was really good, actually. All the seniors kind of talked about it, that we lost that first set on Saturday because, like, we mentally checked in and we were like, okay, like, we can lose, like, this can happen to us and we just need to fight back. And so, like, we kind of all just talk about, like, it's point for point, like, first to 5, first to 10, like, it's just like, don't really look ahead too much, just focus on right now. And as like the teams are going to get harder as we keep going on, we all just really need to stay in that mindset that it's okay if we're down 2 points, just like focus on the next one, like shake off your mistakes and just get back up, like make the next one in, or like, serve the next one in, or like pass this one up. Like, and that's where like the support system comes from the team and everything. And like practices have just been like crazy good lately with like all of our like efforts, and like we all just kind of want to get better and we want to have that really good defense that puts us up.
You brought up the Saturday game. Cardinal pushed you guys. They came out. They were reigning district champs as well. They won one of the districts last year. They won the first set. All the other 3 sets were pretty competitive. I believe none of them were under 25-20. What was it? How beneficial was it to get pushed in this game? Other district championships in past years, you guys have kind of run through them. But now you've been pushed a little bit before going into this regional game. How prepared do you think that really kind of got you for? Obviously, you're going to have some adversity. It's Independence. They're going to have some runs. They're going to put together some points. So being able to go through that in the game before, what kind of advantage is that? And we'll start with Coach again.
Okay. I really enjoyed the game on Saturday. I thought Cardinal did a very nice job. They challenged us. The previous games in the tournament, we had dominated and had very few challenges. And then Cardinal was out to win. They were super scrappy. I believe they had 10 seniors on the team. So they were playing with an intensity that they didn't want their season to end. So I think the first set, we were kind of slow. We made some errors. They took over the game. We had to fight back. Then we kind of got, the realization that, we got to play hard. So we started out set 2, set 3, set 4 in a much more dominating fashion where we felt like we were in control. I mean, Cardinal was still challenging. They were still playing well, but we were in control of our game. So I appreciated that match. I thought it was great. I thought Cardinal was a very strong team, one of the most defensive teams we've seen this season. So I think it started the preparation for us to move into this week.
We'll go to Lucy this time.
I agree with Coach Auer. I think it's kind of like it opened our eyes to like the fact that volleyball isn't like the coming up, all the teams that we're going to play are like going to be a lot harder. And it's like it kind of opened my eyes personally to like realize that like volleyball is a game of mistakes. Like we talk about it a lot, but you don't really realize until you're playing a hard team like that. Like I think getting challenged is going to be really good for us. It's going to make us realize that like we will have to play like basically our hearts out for the rest of the season in order to get as far as we can.
Coach, I want to talk about the last time you guys played Independence. It was 2 years ago, the first regional in this 3 in a row. The first set was 25-22, and then the next 2 were kind of uncompetitive. Obviously every team's different. That team's different than this team. But what did it kind of learn from being able to bounce back from maybe going all out, playing really well in one set, and trying to stay away from compounding mistakes that happened in that match, particularly in the last matchup with Independence, where you got to be able to come back from maybe a disappointing, tough, close set loss?
Yeah, I think it's mental toughness. I think, just really focusing on every point and not letting the game get away from you. That year was rough. I mean, we played with them, and then all of a sudden we just fell off a cliff. We just couldn't serve, receive. It's almost like we had the deer in the headlights look where we just froze. We just did not play well, and we couldn't recover. And most of this team saw that, and that's definitely something we don't want to experience again. I mean, we want to go out there fighting. If we get beat this season, it will be by a team that is better than us, and they will outplay us. And hopefully that doesn't happen. But that's a mentality we have, that every game here on out, whether we win or lose, it will be a hard-fought battle, and we're not going to give up. This year we will not give up. If we are down, we will fight, and we will make the other team earn their points. But yeah, I think 2 years ago we just kind of got stage fright. We just kind of froze, just started making a lot of errors, and we just couldn't recover. So I'm hoping we learned.
And I'll ask this for the players. For the first time this year, really, you guys get to go into a game as kind of the underdogs. I think a lot of people outside of Crestview probably thinking, okay, Independence 2 times getting to the state championship in a row. They're going for trying to win their first. What's it like kind of going into a game kind of with the underdog mentality this year? I'll start with you guys, and then we'll go to Lucy.
Honestly, I think it's really fun for us going in with people knowing that we are going in being the underdogs, and that just makes us want it more and makes our drive just even more competitive. And I think that it's really good for us to go in with a team like this and a team that we've saw before, because us seniors, since we've played them last, just have wanted to go back and play them before, and just go and beat them and prove what we have.
It's definitely kind of like a revenge thing that we have going on.
It's our revenge tour.
Yeah, we all kind of just talk about we want revenge sophomore year. We're going we want to beat them. So.
Yeah, I agree. I was just gonna say the whole revenge thing. I think it's gonna be really it's gonna help us prove that our mental toughness is a lot more than it was sophomore year. I think going into this, it's we want, what Kendra said, we want to prove that we are that we deserve to be there, I think. And I think we want it way more this year than we have in the past. So.
And Coach, this question I want to talk to you about. Obviously, you guys have had the success in seasons prior, and every single team is different each and every year. And we know that no 2 teams are exactly the same. Obviously, I gotta imagine the expectations of this team were probably blown off the roof at some point. I don't know if anybody quite expected them to be as successful as they were. We expected success, but not quite this success. But at what point in this season did you realize this was truly a special group of girls and that they were capable of doing something this special?
Well, not going to lie, I expected it after last season, and they kind of proved it to me over the summer. We do a lot of summer scrimmaging in June, and we dominated. We rarely lost a set. Obviously, in the summer, we have kids on vacation, kids out here and there, and it's like no matter what lineup we brought, we were still successful, and they just had so much energy. So I think the summer kind of set the standard for the success of the season. Once the season started, we knew there would be some tough games. We knew starting out with Lakeview in game 1 that we would have to fight to win our first game of the season. So that kind of set the stage for the season, and we just kept rolling with it. Like I said, undefeated is a crazy thing. That was not the plan. The plan was hopefully to win the league, hopefully get back to regionals. So undefeated is just kind of a added bonus along the way.
I can vouch for that, Coach, because I remember after the last regional loss, you told me, watch out for next year. And so I can vouch for that, that you expected it going into the summer, and they have obviously lived up to it. I don't want you to give out the farm, but, you've watched film, you've watched Independence. Every team has something. No team is perfect in volleyball. You can't cover every spot on the floor. Have you seen some things that you think you can really take advantage of that go into your strength when you're going into this game?
Well, I feel like we're very strong offensively. So if we can run our offense and pick apart at their defense, I mean, we have so many strong hitters and we have such great setters that we can move the ball around, that we could hopefully break their defense apart. I mean, they also have a very strong offense. So, I mean, it's going to be a point-for-point battle. So I'm hoping that our girls bring it, put the ball away, and we can score some big points.
All right, this question is for Lucy because you are a setter, and naturally that means that you are a leader on the court. You have to get people involved, but you also get to hit a lot. What's it kind of like switching mentalities and being able to go from being a setter to then being a hitter when it's called upon you, and being able to kind of do both for your team?
I think sometimes it can be difficult, like going from like front row to back row, like hitting to setting. It's kind of hard to like switch that mentality, but at the same time, you kind of just have to like for me, my opposite is Grace, and she plays the same exact position as me. So it's kind of good to like look at her and like see her calm on the court and see her like knowing what she's doing, and then like kind of just have a realization moment where you're like, oh wow, like I play this position, like I know what I'm gonna do, and then just kind of go with the plan that we've worked on for the entire season.
The question I have for just the entire team, and I'll go with Coach and every player on this one, if you want to answer this one. Give me in a word, 1 to 3 words, what this team, just describe this team in 1 to 3 words, a word that comes to mind, or maybe just a short phrase, but what does this team make you think of right off the bat?
All right, we're putting you guys on the spot first.
Energy.
Magical.
Desire.
I like it. All right. Lucy, you are up.
I think excitement and barking.
All right. Didn't expect that one.
I'm going to say that it's unselfish love for each other. That's what brings them together as a team.
Well, if you can't tell from this interview, they definitely have personality. That's definitely one. Guys, we are so excited for this matchup tomorrow. I'll be there broadcasting if you're not able to go, which shame on you if you're not able to go. But if for some reason you're not, you can watch it live on ysnlive.com at 6 o'clock, Barberton High School against Independence. Guys, good luck. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Help us preview this matchup and get excited for tomorrow. We wish you the best of luck, and we'll see you there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As, of course, we want to wish all of our Lady Rebels good luck over in Crestview as they prepare for their regional final matchup, and it's a battle of the undefeateds, and this is going to be a great one. And, boy, you hear it, and I think they have a great mentality going into this one, Anthony. I think they have all the boxes checked that are necessary to come out victorious on this one. Now they just got to do it on the court.
I want to, because I noticed it as they were leaving. Shelby Rambo was waiting in the green room on the other side of the, like, I guess you have to scroll on the screen guard. So I apologize to Shelby, and dang, that makes me feel just awful.
We might have to bring him on. So Crestview, we'll try to get him on again, obviously. And hey, more motivation for them to just make it past the regional final, because if they do, we'll have to just bring them on again.
Right.
But no, this is, like I said, this is a team that has all the check marks necessary to come away victorious and advance, and they just got to go out there and do it on the court now.
Let's go. I want to take a minute to just go through the numbers of this matchup, and a lot of people might look at it and say, well, Independence Day, they've gone to 2 straight state championships, and they're going for a 3rd straight, trying to win their first. This is a mismatch, but if you look at the numbers straight up, they're pretty even. Both teams have multiple players with 100 or more kills. And you look at Independence's offense, they actually don't have any player with more than 200, but they have 6 players with more than 100. They are led by a freshman in Audrey Anders, and she has 195 kills. So odds are she'll have 200 by the end of the season. I doubt that they'll hold her to just under 5 kills. They might. Who knows? It would be awesome if Crestview was able to do that. But you have her with 195, and then you have 160, 140, 144, 120, 109. It's a very balanced offense. Not one thing you can take away. That's one of the reasons why they're so successful. You look at their digging. They have 866 digs as a team. Once again, very balanced. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players with 100 or more digs. So they obviously have players that can play in every position and not be a liability in the back row. You look at their blocking numbers, not extremely high. Abby Emch has more blocks than the whole team combined. So that could be an advantage for Crestview on the block and the net defense, and the way that Abby Emch has been playing at the net all year. You look at Crestview's offense, by the way, as we go from that to Crestview.
The one thing, I think the one stat that jumps out to me, obviously the team that had over 1,000 kills as a team, but 43%, their 43.2% kill percentage as a team is absolutely mind-boggling, I think, to look at, to see that the entire team's kill percentage is well over 40%.
Yeah, their hitting percentage, which is a even more applicable stat, because it means how efficient you are with your hits and how many errors you're getting compared to your kills. Their hitting percentage is .322. That's a very good hitting percentage for a team. They have 3 girls that have more than 200 kills, and then they have 1 more that's over 100. So they have 4 girls that are over 100 kills. Lucy Montgomery leads them with 293, and then you look at Grace Hour right behind her with 251. But then, Abby M sitting right there at 232. The co-freshman of the year at YSN, definitely earned it, not just with her offense, but with her defense as well. Like I said, Abby M on the year. Let's look at her. This one, I want to get a total. 42 blocks on the season. Total 42 solo blocks, I should say. And when you come to blocks total, she has 89. Okay, 89 blocks. You go back to Independence. And Independence as a team has 85 total blocks. So, I mean, obviously, numbers are numbers, and Independence has played a lot of good teams. You look, they beat the team that beat them in the state championship last year in 5. They beat Huron in 5. They beat Wadsworth in 5. They have a lot of 5-set matchups. They play a brutal schedule, and obviously, if you're a program at that level, you should attract the best volleyball in your area, hands down. So they play a good schedule. They're a good team. Not taking anything away from Independence at all, but when you look at the numbers, you start seeing that this isn't as big of a mismatch as people might think.
Yeah, no doubt. And you know what? Another number that's really interesting to me too. The ace percentage of over 16% on serves too. That's a pretty fair ace percentage too. That 16% of your serves are resulting in aces.
And
That's
that's big because I don't care how good the volleyball team is. If they're out of system, they become really easy to defend. So if your serve is on and you're getting it in play and making it hard to put up a good pass, I mean, you could be playing the national team. If you get them out of system, then you have a chance to beat them. So,
And another thing too, a big one too, in serve receiving, 980 receptions to just 94 receiving errors. So that's huge too, and that's going to be a big proponent in those big time close games. Your serve receiving, how you are going against the serve, is going to be just as important, especially in those type of games.
I think it's safe to say if Crestview wins, it will be the biggest win in program history.
And that would be huge for the program too. And I don't think it could happen to a better group of girls too, as they're so enthralled with each other. They love each other and grown up with each other. This is a team that is so incredibly close. And you could tell that too, just by the interview today. If that didn't showcase that, I don't know what will. And I think they have the best attitude they can have going into this game as well.
They definitely do. And you know, like I said, this is their revenge tour. They lost to Independence in 2 years ago. All the seniors were on the bench. They all saw it. Some of them got some time in there. And I brought it up with Coach. The first set in that game was very competitive, 25-22. And then it just kind of went sour really quick. Mistakes were compounded. So Crestview's a lot mentally tougher than they used to be. And now they're going to be able to kind of – I don't think we'll see one of those games where they fall off the wagon. If they do happen to lose to Independence, it will be a consistent game from Crestview that they'll just get outplayed. I strongly believe that if it were to happen, it will not be because Crestview falls off the wagon.
Yep, and let's see. It's going to be a fun matchup tomorrow night. You can find it right here on ysnlive.com.
Tomorrow night in the Purple Palace at Barberton, 6 o'clock on ysnlive.com. It is free, and it is proudly brought to you by Columbiana Ford. They were the ones that stepped up to sponsor this game and take care of our stream fees and our fee to the OHSAA. So we thank Columbiana Ford for putting it together.
And we know, too, if you're out there in that Crestview area, we know where Crestview sits right there in Columbiana, too. So, hey, support your local businesses, like we said, too. Columbiana Ford putting it up, too. So we know if you're in the market for a car and you're out there in Columbiana, you could go there as well. Or, you know, where else you can go, too, if you're also in a market for a car. We got our guys right up there, too. And, you know, I'm going to plug them, too, being an Austintown boy myself, too. Greenwood Chevy in Austintown does a great job supporting YSN and all the local teams as well. And we thank Greenwood Chevrolet as well as one of our proud supporters.
So that'll be one of 2 volleyball tournament games on the network tomorrow. Once again, Wellsville and Western Reserve will also be on the network at 7:30 from Strongsville High School. DJ Oakley and Gary Altizer will have the call there. We're going to take one time out, and we will be back with Mr. Scotty Mincher next.
Close out the show with Scotty.
Running Point brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Working with your family can be stressful at times, but because they're family, you know that you're going to get a loving, honest answer, even when things don't make sense to any problem. Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online,
All right, let's talk high Res Futurecast and the timing of this weather.
on social media, and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
And we're back on Running Point Wednesday edition, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. And look who came rolling into the studio. It is Mr. Scotty Minter, rocking the, I should say Guardians. They're not the Indians anymore officially. But on the day after baseball ends, the Braves are the World Series champions, and he's rocking the Indians, getting ready for the offseason already, huh, Scotty?
Yeah, I mean, it could never come the off season. You know, it always goes by pretty fast. In baseball, they say for the diehard baseball fans, there's 2 seasons, winter and baseball. But yeah, I wanted to get some good mojo going into the next season now, although I don't know, with this being politically incorrect.
Don't point it out, Scotty.
Yeah.
We were just going to roll right by it, not mention it.
I was, yeah, you were going to let it go. I guess I did that one. I rolled right into that one. But
sometimes you have to listen to Frozen and just let it go.
But, yeah, but I was going to say, Anthony, in fairness, I will eventually get some Guardians apparel. I don't know if it's going to be the official, like, team website, team shop stuff, because I'm not crazy about the logo, but I've seen some, like, off-brand, different Guardian designs that I like for the Indians from, like, not official places that are licensed by the team that I like. So I am going to get some Guardians apparel and rock that and move forward with that. And there's things to be optimistic about for if you're a Cleveland fan.
He's already moved on to baseball season. We all know that.
But
Sunday was rough for you.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I wanted to get into today before I get too off what I wanted to talk about here today, Anthony. And I want to incorporate Ty into this conversation too a little bit later.
We might let him in.
But I just wanted to know from you, Anthony, the Browns and the Chiefs, both, not in terrible positions, but both sitting at 4-4. Of course, the Chiefs in a little better spot because they have the head-to-head win over my Brownies in week number 1. But just about everybody would say both of these teams have failed to live up to their expectations this season. So for you, Anthony, I think it's obvious the defense has struggled. That's putting it lightly for the Chiefs. So I'm not going to harp on that too much. But other than the defense, what do you think the biggest issue for the Chiefs has been? In past years, the defense has been, really good at times. At the very worst, serviceable. They've never been great, but they've been serviceable. But it seems like this year, anybody's able to score on them. But it also seems on the offensive side of the ball, things aren't going the way they've gone the last 3 years for Kansas City and winning the Super Bowl 2 years ago. What do you see as a fan? What do you think their biggest problem is right now?
I think that was a really long question just to put spikes in the Chiefs fan because he just kept going at it. I'm just kidding. It's easy. 19 turnovers. No, I don't care how good you are. You turn the ball over 19 times and have a turnover margin of minus 11 against the schedule we play. You're going to lose a lot of games. And, some of it is bad luck. Mahomes has had a couple of balls go right through the hands of receivers and up in the air and caught by the defense. But some of it has been Mahomes trying to do a little bit too much. We've seen that happen. We've seen him struggle with reads at the line of scrimmage. He's making the wrong throws. And then also ball security by a runner. Our runners have fumbled. Travis Kelce fumbled. McCall. I think 11 different players have turned the ball over for Kansas City. So 19 turnovers and 11 different players have turned the ball over. It's one of those things. It's self-inflicted. It's not like other teams are just beating us square to square. We're kind of beating ourselves, and I think the Browns are in kind of the same situation. They haven't had a game where you can say the Browns played well and the other team just played better. In the games that the Browns have lost, it's been the Browns shooting themselves in the foot or turning the ball over or whatever it may be.
Aside, I have a bad habit of interrupting people, so sorry, Anthony, but I was gonna say, aside from the Arizona game, that was a game where the Browns got completely outplayed, outcoached, outclassed.
Yeah,
but aside from that game,
you'll admit that the Browns did not play well in that game either. Like, it wasn't just Browns played well, Cardinals played better.
Yeah, you're right. It's. I think you hit the nail on the head when it's been mostly self-inflicted wounds for both teams, and both teams it just seems like they cannot get out of their own way right now.
12 penalties on Monday night against New York, by the way, for the Chiefs.
Man, anytime you get up in the double digits, man, that's just, you just can't have that. I can see
11 penalties in the Super Bowl last year too.
Yeah, I mean, you get it when you see 4, 5, 6, but once it gets to 9, 10, 11, that's it's just not acceptable. But
I guess we'll get Ty's quick thoughts because we're getting up on this where we have to get the trivia questions up pretty quick.
Yeah. Ty, from your perspective, I think as a Patriots fan, with them sitting at 4-4, middle of the pack, 2 games, they're about, I think, where you and most Patriots fans expected. I think just about everybody considered Buffalo the favorite, but the Patriots are making noise. But I wanted to ask you about the Browns and Chiefs. Obviously, the Chiefs are in the better position, Ty, because not only do they have the win over the Browns, as much as I love Baker Mayfield and I've been a Mayfield apologist, he is not Patrick Mahomes. So they also have that clear advantage as well. But what do you see from both of these teams, and whose struggles? I mean, I think you're going to probably say Kansas City, as far as they've been more surprising to you, their struggles. I think that shocked pretty much everybody. But how surprised are you that the Browns are sitting at 4-4?
Quick time.
I think it's, again, what you guys both said, that it's both teams that don't get out of their own way, but I think it's both quarterbacks that are just trying to do too much. And I mean, I think, being at that Cardinals game, it probably wasn't the best Browns game for me to witness, but I saw Baker plenty of times miss wide open receivers that were far down the field that he just didn't throw to. So there is some blame to put on Baker's shoulders. Do I put the entire blame on Baker's shoulders for that game against Pittsburgh? No, I wouldn't put the entire blame on it. Could he have played better? Yeah. Does Jarvis and Odell need to catch the balls down the stretch? Yeah, they do. I personally don't see either the Browns or Pittsburgh being much of a playoff team. And if they are, I think there might be a wild card team, if that, and it's probably an early exit, just because I wasn't impressed with either team. Defensively, Pittsburgh looked good, but their offense looked pitiful. And I don't know much on Pittsburgh's how well they're going to be able to shape things up with Ben at quarterback this year to be able to make that run. Kansas City has a unique situation too, because I feel like they have the talent there. They just need Patrick Mahomes just needs to get out of his own way and quit trying to do too much. And I think you started to see that a little bit in that game against the Giants. He wasn't trying to go for the home run ball as much and trying to just throw underneath. He just needs to make the smart reads, make the good quarterback passes. I would have said that the Chiefs had the harder path because of the strength of schedule going forward, and the Browns might have an easier path to the playoffs. But now, since Aaron Rodgers is out, I don't know. It's going to be interesting, though, because Jordan Love, you would think, is going to start. So this could be a trap game for the Chiefs if they're not careful, never seeing Love play in the NFL before.
All right. It is time for our trivia. We have to go to our trivia. Scotty, you have 9 minutes to – well, we'll give you 10. We'll go to 1:55. Scotty, your 10 minutes start right now.
Right now. They start, and these are some – I really was racking my brain earlier, Ty, thinking, how can I stump this guy? How obscure do I have to get? These are some interesting ones I've come up with today. I think I'm going to get you a couple of times on these, but let's just get it started without further delay. Here we go. Ty, when the Indians were the Spiders, they still to this day, when they were the Cleveland Spiders, they finished in 12th place. They were in the National League at that time, and they still to this day have the worst record in Major League Baseball history. What was the Cleveland Spiders record?
All-time
I
record.
think Scotty's asking that one season where they were the worst record in baseball. What was their record that season, if I'm not mistaken? Right? That's what you
Or are you asking all-time? Because
no, I was asking all time.
Because they were a terrible team. They were terrible from 1887 to 1899. I think that's when they were around.
They had, if this, and I know, Anthony, you say I shouldn't give them any help.
Don't do it.
I guess because it's so hard to get records right.
He's a robot.
He is a robot.
Skynet
I'm too nice, man. I'll say they had a 130 winning percentage, if that helps at all.
Oh, wow.
Now he just has to do the math on how many games they play in a season, and boom, he's got it.
Yeah, honestly, no, actually, he could have slipped me up there. It wasn't 162 back then. It was 154, and a 130 winning percentage would have meant that they won 20 games, so they would have been 20 and 134 in that season.
Yeah, but he wants all time, like
yeah. So that was in 1899, and before that, I feel like. So hold on, I'm gonna need to do some quick math because I think I know the winning percentage of what the Spiders were, and I think it was 470. And if it was 470, and I think they played from 87 to 1899 because 1900 the team changed to, was it the Naps or the Blues at that time? Because Cleveland, they didn't become the Indians until later after that. So in 154 games, times that by 12 seasons, or 471, something like that percentage. That would have put them at roughly, I don't want to get a calculator out on this one, so I just want to try to do this one in my head. 825, 825 wins, and that would have put them at like 940 in the loss column. If that percentage that I have is right in my head, if it's around the 460s, 470s, it's somewhere in like 825 to, with a 3-win margin of error. It's like 825 to 828 wins all time, and 941 losses to 935 losses all time. It's somewhere in that range.
Is he in the right range, Scotty? Because we'll give him the question if he's in the right range.
I don't know. I won't be able to pinpoint an exact one. I'm not going to. It's somewhere in that range if I'm right on the winning percentage of what they were.
Yeah, you're in the range.
Okay, that's what I thought. If I was right on the winning percentage, I knew there was a range on that. If you're going to give that to me, I'll take it. But I can't tell you the exact one. I don't know the exact record now.
I did help you out there.
The score is 38-11. Ty has the all-time lead now.
Yeah, I guess that one throwing you too much of a bone.
It was too big of a bite.
Giving you the winning percentage there. The next thing I want to know from you, Ty, is all the opponents, every single team the Denver Broncos have faced in their Super Bowl appearances. Then the second part, the latter part of that question, what team upset the Broncos in the 1996 divisional round?
So he wants every team the Broncos have ever played in the Super Bowl, and what team upset them in that 1996 divisional round. So I think I might know this one actually myself.
Well, the most recent one I obviously know is the 2015 one versus Carolina.
You're correct there.
Prior to that, they lost in 2013 with Peyton Manning to Seattle in that blowout.
Correct there.
Prior to that, 98, they won against Atlanta.
That is correct.
And then that was a repeat because they did it in 97, I think, against Green Bay as well.
Correct.
I keep going back and John.
Then they upset the 2 times Cardiac, the Brownies, and I'm sure this still you could watch film on this and breaks your heart too, as they beat Cleveland to go on and beat my Patriots back in '86, and then Houston in '87 to win 2 more Super Bowls.
Well, no.
No. Excuse me. No. That was the conference.
Whoa.
Excuse me. They beat. No. Excuse me. I was. Excuse me. You wanted the conference finals for what year?
No, he wants every team the Broncos have played in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Super Bowl history.
Okay. So in the 97 and 98, that was when they lost in, or 87, 86. I mean, they lost to Washington, and then before they lost to the Giants.
Washington Giants, those are both good.
Those are both good.
Now, the last part of the question, if I'm not mistaken, they were beaten in the divisional round in 1996. Who upset them?
He still didn't get there. There's another team, and he didn't name the team in 89.
Oh, 89 Super Bowl.
In 89, they went and they lost to San Francisco, I think.
Is that right?
That is correct.
Yeah, and then I think I said the 77 one where they lost to Dallas because they didn't win their first Super Bowl until they beat Green Bay. And then now you want the divisional, the wild card. What was it from?
I think it was 96.
96. They got upset in the divisional round. What team pulled off the upset.
I like that he brought the Broncos into it for a different change of pace too. I think at that point,
I know this one. If time doesn't get, I'm gonna guess.
I think this was the only reason why I think I know this is because it was showcased on one of the Patriots runs, because it was the Jaguars that were trying to upset the Patriots in that one, and they were coming dang close with Blake Bortles, but they couldn't get the job done.
It was the expansion Jacksonville Jaguars too, with Mark Brunell.
Was right around that time. Yeah, they were bringing those expansion teams back in too, and I think Cleveland followed suit a couple years after.
I believe the expansion teams that year were Jacksonville and Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. And then not too many years later, Carolina went to that Super Bowl against New England and barely lost.
We like to make things interesting. We know it's the Super Bowl. It needs to be a close game. It needs to be something super. So we make it interesting.
Scotty, that does it. Those are your questions.
I don't get one more.
No, it's 155. It just that I think that Indians one took a little bit too long.
Oh, okay.
We got to keep that one in the can, Scotty. I'm ready for you.
But that was 6 Super Bowls that he got right for the Denver Broncos, and that's seven right answers. So, my word, you're down 44-11.
Yeah, that's. I do have one that I'll keep in the holster.
I'm looking forward to it next Wednesday, Scotty. I don't know what you're gonna bring to the table now. You can't.
This one. If you get this next one, Ty, you're not human.
Lead with your best. Oh, Scotty, you're hitting me.
I wanted to say best for last, but I'll save it for next week.
He's going to lead me off with an L next week. That's what he's trying to lead me off with.
Get him off the base. Get him off his footing. Lead him off with the L.
All
right. That does it for this episode of Running Point on the Wednesday edition.
And before we wrap up, I want to just preview real quick for tomorrow. We are going to have Chris Huxell, Lisbon boys basketball coach. That's going to be coming on at 12:30. At 1 o'clock, Michael Wernicke, Struthers boys basketball, going to be coming on. 1:15, Tom Siegfried, the Louisville boys basketball coach, going to be coming on. And then I believe at 1:45, we have Justin Rahim, the Heartland girls basketball coach, coming on. So 4 basketball coaches on slate, 3 boys, 1 girls tomorrow. So it's going to be a fun-filled basketball day again.
Ty jumping the gun, man. I was getting there.
Well, I know you were getting there, but I wanted to make sure we get those coaches shout out too. And if you're a fan of any of those programs, make sure you're tuning in. Struthers is going to be fun to talk to. So is Louisville.
I want to thank Coach Crispin from Columbiana for joining us today, as well as Coach Simbach from Newton Falls and Coach Birch from Boardman. And then I want to thank the members of the Crestview volleyball team that came on along with Coach Alicia Auer to preview their regional matchup tomorrow night against Independence. We thank all of them for their time. As Ty said, tomorrow we have another packed show for you from 12 to 2. And coming up next, Casual Sports Podcast, 2 to 3, Power Hour from 3 to 4. We'll be back tomorrow, 12 to 2. We're taking a 22-hour break, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Crestview Ursuline after Power Hour. Tune in tonight. Get out there. Support.
And MVAC All-Star Game.
You got it.